Hello, what's up? Welcome back to another episode. I wanted to talk about Resident Evil 9 today, so there's a lot of rumours flying around that we might get a Resident Evil 9 announcement coming soon. And that's mainly because there's been a post on Metacritic for Resident Evil 9, and it's sort of like says what platform it's on, and everyone's kind of going, oh, we're going to get an announcement soon. It's probably looking like we are going to get an announcement soon, and I'm excited for the announcement. I can't wait to play Resident Evil 9. I've loved every single Resident Evil game to an extent. I could make another video going into games, Resident Evil games that I've not enjoyed, but that's by the by. I wanted to talk about Resident Evil 9. There's rumours that it's going to be set in sort of Southeast Asia on an island in Singapore, and there was rumours going around saying that it was going to be in Alaska and it was going to be all snowy and stuff like that. And I'm excited either way, and I don't really care who the main protagonist is. I don't care. The main reason I wanted to make this video is, do you not think it's time that we started killing some of the main characters off? Just going to throw it out there. And I know that's like sacrilege, and everyone will be like, oh my god, what are you talking about? Think about it. This is a franchise that's like 28 years, possibly even longer, that's been going. And I'm only talking about the main numbered mainline games. Everyone's still alive. Everybody. Chris is alive. Jill's alive. Barry's alive. Rebecca's alive. Billy Cohen's probably alive. Carlos, I think, is alive. Claire Redfield's alive. Sherry's alive. Alex Wesker's alive. One of the worst characters in this fucking franchise. Leon's alive. Sheva's alive. We've got all these characters that are just alive and well. And the only character that we've lost, and he's died before, is Wesker. And he was like the coolest villain ever, and people want him back. I don't know how long the Resident Evil franchise has got left. I don't know how strong the legs are under the franchise, but Resident Evil kills it every time it comes out. But I just think that Capcom could take a few little more risks. When you play a Resident Evil game, there's no stakes. I don't feel like there's any stakes. I know Chris is going to come out of it, okay. I know whoever the main protagonist is, Leon, Claire, Chris, Jill, whatever. I know by the end of it, they're going to be blowing something up with a rocket launcher and flying out to the sunset over the sea in a helicopter. And that's just the Resident Evil formula. And I feel like it's a very safe formula, and they've been doing it for so long. And I'm not saying that they should have like a massacre game where we need to kill off a mainline character like the latest Star Wars trilogy, where it was like Han Solo's dead, Princess Leia's dead, Luke's dead. I'm not saying any of that. We don't have to kill everyone off. But what I am saying is, can we not just have a little bit of a risk? Like, have a little bit of like, oh my god, are they going to do this? And we've come close before. We've had people being under control. Jill, Resident Evil 5, when she was under control by Wesker. We've had people being poisoned. We've had people being, infected with the actual virus. We've had people die and come back. The only real kind of person that's died, and we didn't really give a shit about them, was Bravo Team and Steve Burnside, if anyone knows or can remember who that is, who was in the game, who was in Code Veronica for like an hour, and then he died. And then it was like this big, massive, oh my god, he's dead. But I just sort of feel like they've got so many characters that they could play with. They've got so many scenarios, like even just like a hero death, do you know what I mean? Chris trying to save Claire, or, Leon trying to save Claire again and it goes wrong and he dies or something. And there's just a real loss that affects the sort of group dynamic, that could go into a second, bring Wesker back and have him kill fucking... In my opinion, it can only be a few people that can die. I think it's got to be... You can't kill Chris and Claire. It has to be one or the other. You can't kill Chris and Leon because they're very similar characters. Almost two sides of the same coin in a way. It has to be one or the other. Chris dying would have weight because Claire would be upset about it, and Jill would be upset about it as well because they're partners. Claire dying, Chris would be upset about it, and Leon would be upset about it. Leon dying, Claire would be upset about it. I don't think Chris would really give a shit, really. He's only met him once in the games. Rebecca dying doesn't really hold any... I mean, she's kind of, in a way, a throwaway character. Barry dying, I don't really know, but I kind of feel like they could push the envelope a little bit more and have... just have a bit of balls to do something with instead of it just having like, Resident Evil 9, it's going to be this protagonist at this location, there's going to be a bad guy and a new side character. The side character potentially dies and that's going to be upsetting for the main character. That's basically the Resident Evil sort of formula. And I feel like it's Resident Evil 9. Now, I don't know how long, I don't know how long. I heard the rumours going around that Resident Evil 9 was going to be the last one. You know, the remakes are now catching up with the mainline games very quickly. We're now at, like, with Resident Evil 4 remake. I would love to see a Resident Evil 1 remake in the style of Resident Evil 2 remake. A lot of people don't want that and think the Resident Evil remake is perfect on its own. I agree, but I also have a little bit of OCD and would love to walk around the Spencer Mansion in the style of Resident Evil 2 remake, and just think that would be a great way, and just have the graphics and just updated sort of dialogue and everything would be great. I want to see a Code Veronica remake. A lot of people don't even know what that fucking game is, which makes me feel even older. Resident Evil 4 remake was brilliant. I preferred it to the original. But are we going to get a Resident Evil 5 remake or Resident Evil 6 remake? And then we've caught up. We've caught up because you can't remake 7 and 8 and 9. We've basically caught up. So I don't know where Resident Evil's going. Do you know what I mean? And like I say, we've had people being poisoned. Resident Evil 8, it was alluded that Chris was a bad guy, which was always going to be bollocks. And there's just no real kind of like, you know, there's no skin in the game. There's no real risk. And I just feel like it would be such a cool move and a ballsy move if they just decided to kill a main character in Resident Evil 9 and be like, fuck. This is it. Do it at the end so it could go into Resident Evil 10. Do you know what I mean? They've all got to band together and do something about whatever. I don't know. But I don't know. I don't want Resident Evil to become Assassin's Creed and be like, right, this one's going to be in Singapore. The next one's going to be in London. Then the next one's going to be in China. Then we're going to go to bloody Las Vegas. You know, I don't want it to be this sort of, you know, moving around the world, because then we're getting into the sort of film territory and the films are terrible. I just sort of feel like, and I made a video about this ages ago, and I deleted it. It was when I was living back at my parents' house. It's when I had hair. I was recording everything on a mobile phone. And I made a video years ago saying Capcom need to start killing mainline characters off the Resident Evil franchise, because it's just getting a bit too safe. Everyone's just safe. Everyone has plot armor on. There's no, like I say, there's no real risk. But I'd love to hear what people think in the comments. I know this is just a random video, but it's a topic that I think it's very near and dear to me, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I'd love to see them do some like ballsy stuff and, you know, kill some main people off. Doesn't have to be everyone, but just let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I'm talking absolute nonsense, fantastic. It's just my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. But I just feel like it would just inject a bit of like what the fuck into the franchise. Like, oh my god, you're going to do this with the franchise? People dying off. So let me know in the comments, and as always, continue to hit the like button. It does really well for my videos and the channel, and helps me to make more videos. And if you want to subscribe, that's also a big help as well. Trying to hit a certain milestone before Christmas, and I'm nearly there, very nearly there. So I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll see you again on the next video. So take care of yourselves.